Now, when it comes to AMC stock, guys, I am so impressed by how much everybody has learned just in the last several months. I mean, think about it. If you got into AMC and it was your first investment, how much have you learned? How much have you learned about the stock market, about everything that you never expected to come across? And yet here you are. You're sitting here, you're watching AMC, and you're talking about things that you didn't even know existed before. But let's talk about some of the things that we do know, because when it comes time for this squeeze, we're going to need to look at things like volume. We're going to need to look at things like how many short shares are being covered, because that's the focus. The short squeeze requires one thing: shorts to cover. But it comes down to, a lot of people want to know if there's something that they can look at that directly indicates are the shorts covering or not. And it's not so simple. So if all of this sounds like something you're interested in, let's get started. What's up, everybody? I'm Clay. I'm here to make 2021 the best year ever. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. And look, if you're brand new to investing or you're just looking for a different broker, use the link down in the description below for Webull. Sign up, make your deposit. You're going to get a couple free stocks. Sell those stocks, keep those stocks, whatever you want to do, they are yours. All right, guys, so when it comes to AMC stock and when it comes to the short squeeze, it would be very nice if there was just something that we could look at to say, okay, there's 90 million short shares left, 80 million, 70 million, 50 million, 40 million, that updates in real time where all of us can make the decision, and a very well-informed decision at that, whether or not we should sell our shares of AMC. Because I'm here for one reason. That's a short squeeze. I assume that you're here for the same reason, for the short squeeze, to watch AMC stock rip to the absolute moon, because we know that the short shares, not the FOMO run up, not these retail traders, not day traders, but the short shares have to pay whatever price we're willing to sell it at. Okay? Now, if we got FOMO buyers, eventually they'll dry up. Day traders, eventually they'll run out of momentum. The short sellers, they have to buy it no matter the price. Now, we know this. So one of the questions I see most often in the live stream is, well, what can we look at? Is there something that we can look at to determine that there are this many short shares outstanding, this is a guaranteed number, and then we can make the decision whether or not we're going to sell based on that number? The short answer is no. Okay, there's nothing in real time that you're going to be able to see that is 100% accurate. Now, data like Ortex and so on, you can use their estimates to get a better understanding of where the short shares are at. Now, they use those estimates and they gather them from the data that they receive. They don't receive all of the data, and they're also estimating it based on return shares and borrowed shares and so on. So that number is not 100% accurate, and we can even see that in the fact that recently Ortex was estimating that there were roughly, I believe, 104 million short shares outstanding for AMC stock, and they reduced that estimate to about 90 million short shares over like a 24-hour period, and it just drastically dropped that short interest down from above 21% all the way down to about 17%, dropped from 104 million down to 94 million. Now, that didn't indicate that the shorts were covering, okay? That didn't indicate that. That just indicated that they were readjusting their estimate to better reflect the actual exchange reported information that was out there. So a lot of people were a little bit concerned or skeptical about that for a while. But that is a good number if you want something to look at. If you want to look at an institutional, number or estimate out there, Ortex is something that you can do. But here's the deal, and this is the beauty and at the same time the beast of the stock market. We never have guaranteed information. The best we ever have is this could be happening. This is what analysts expect. This is what you expect. This is what the majority of the people expect. Everything is estimates. That's why there is risk and reward when it comes to buying an asset or buying a stock or buying a company. You have this information that's available, and you make a decision based on that information. Now, one of the biggest things that you can look at during the short squeeze is going to be volume, okay? We talk about it a lot when we're going over What could potentially trigger the short squeeze and a very high days to cover is going to be a very high risk for the hedge funds, and that could cause them to cover. But once they do so, I can't say that this is what we're going to see, but we should expect to see extremely high volume. People have been talking and focusing about AMC for the better half of a year now. Okay, we're going on 10 months, and it's nothing but what people have been talking about, this MOAS, this mother of all short squeezes, the short squeeze to end all short squeezes, life-changing money. Expect FOMO buyers to jump in like you've never seen before. Expect day traders to take advantage of the technical breakout once we start to hit all-time highs. Expect the short sellers to scramble and try to sell their shares, or cover their shares, to cover those short shares that they have outstanding. The volume is going to be intense. It's going to be quick, and if you want a reference, you can go back and look at the beginning of June. You can see that roughly 1 billion shares were being traded. I believe it was something like 750 million shares traded per day. Now that's insane, and it indicates one thing. Shorts could, emphasis on the could, be covering. Okay, we talk about this a lot in the live streams. The best information that we're going to be working with is this could be happening. If you see 750 million, you see 1 billion, you see 2 billion shares being traded, and we know that the hedge funds only have to cover 100 million or 90 million or 85 million shares, whatever the number is during that time frame, whatever the short shares outstanding tends to be when the short squeeze starts, that's how many shares that they have to cover. So if they have to cover 90 million and we see 900 million shares being traded, they could have covered all of those shares 10 times over. Now, a more conservative approach would say, okay, the hedge funds could be covering right now. Maybe I should take some profit off the table. A riskier approach would say, okay, yes, they could be covering right now, but the price tends to be moving higher. Yes, it's moving at a volatile pace, but the underlying trend is moving to the upside right now, so I'm going to let it ride a little while longer. I'm going to see if I can squeeze a little bit more out of this short squeeze. I'm going to see if I can hold it and get that much more money out of it. So you've got two approaches here. You got a more conservative, you got a more risky approach. But here's the deal that nobody should be uptight about, tense about, beat themselves up over it, is if you go to sell during a run-up like that, everything's pointing that, okay, Ortex's estimates are coming down for shorts. The shorts definitely could be covering. The volume is extremely high right now. The price is starting to fade a little bit. Maybe it's still rising, but it's not rising at the same pace. But the momentum is fading. Things look like they're slowing down, and you decide to sell. Well, guess what? I'm going to let you in on a secret. The hedge funds can short from the top, too, and they can bring that price back down a little bit, perhaps like they did in June. They can short it up there, and we can watch it fall. Let's say you did get out, and it turns out that there are still short shares available once everything settles down. You can get back in, okay? Nobody's going to time this thing perfectly. Nobody's got information that the other people aren't sitting on. Everybody is going to be taking a risk in trying to time the squeeze perfectly. Nobody's going to do it unless you get lucky. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get out at the exact peak, because if it turns out that we got out of our short positions and they re-shorted at the top, round 2, round 3, we can go all day. Guys, if the hedge funds are willing to take this risk again, we're willing to take more money from them. I mean, I think you agree with that. But let me know down in the comments below, guys, what you kind of think about this. What do you think the volume's going to be like? Do you think it's going to be intense? Do you think these are things that we should be looking at? Or are you just holding out for a certain price point and then you're getting out? And if this button is still red, make sure to click and subscribe to the channel. Join us. Become a bro. We are here every single day, and we are growing our portfolios together. Use the links down in the description below for Webull, for Binance. Make a deposit. You guys are going to get some free crypto, free stocks, and then ClayBro883 on Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, guys, until the next time, hope that each and every one of you have an awesome day.